Okay, so I've added some parts in here. Here's the one, let's see. Okay, the one I was working on when I left. Added some vocal parts. Okay, let's see, what else we got? There's an acid part as well. Check it out. Okay, and then this is the outro here. And then I add a few of these things. Okay, one thing I noticed is that the Depeche Mode parts and the break parts never play at the same time. So I could theoretically freeze these and drag them over, or just drag them over as is. But what I'd have to do is I'd have to adjust the volume here, right? As it is, when I put this into the Force, I'm not really sure if it's going to be a good thing or not. I don't know if those let me eject this. I need to put, bam. Need to hook up the Force. I'm not sure if the volumes of each fader are going to translate over to the Force like they're supposed to, but to tell you the truth, I just don't know. So right now, I'm going into the menu on the Force, and I'm putting this thing into computer mode. So you'll be able to see that pop up in a second. Boom, boom, boom. Right there. Okay. So this is the stuff I have on the Force. I started with a clean hard drive, so I've got my project files, some synths, key groups and synths and stuff, and then temporary clips, which I use. I used these for my last, etc., etc. So now here, what I want to do is, this is fine. I'm going to save this as is. Boom, boom. Come on, Mr. Computer. You can do it. You can do it. Put your back into it. So what I'm going to end up doing, and this is going to take a minute, so I might as well think of something to talk about. But what I'm going to do is, after this saves, which it did, is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to save live set as. Okay, I'm going to go to my Force, and it's called windscreen music because obviously it flies on the windscreen. It's Madonna. I'm going to call this Madonna v Depeche instead. And notice it's saving it as an Ableton Live set. Because it's saving it as an Ableton Live set, and once I get it into the Force, I want to load it up, I'm not going to put it inside the projects folder. I'm going to save it as is inside of the Force. In fact, I'll go to the Force and I'll see, oh, there it is right there. When I go inside the Force, I'll be able to open it up and open the Force project, right? Here's the thing, is that, oh, I'm still waiting for it to do its thing, apparently. Sorry, y'all. Once this is copied over, I'm going to have to go into File, and I'm going to have to collect all and save. So each one of these place markers references something, a location on my hard drive, right? Okay, so this is inside the Force. Let's check again, make sure. Let's go USB drive, and there it is. Okay, and inside, there's my file on the Force. That's what I'm going to end up loading into the Force, but it won't load right unless I collect all and save. It's going to ask all the files from elsewhere and other projects and my library and the factory packs. Yes. Yep. And this is going to take a second. There's a bit of information here that's got to get copied over onto the force, etc., etc. So I'm going to let this finish, and when this finishes, before I can, this will be open from the force location, so I'm going to have to close down live in order to eject my force properly and go back to standalone mode. And once I do that, I will be cracking it open on the force. Notice, this guy here is, notice where these faders are, okay? When I load it into the force, there's a possibility that those faders are all going to be brought to 0, okay? I don't know if that's the case. There's another thing too, is I've only heard this inside the headphones. I haven't even heard this on speakers. So I'm going to, once we get it into the force, I am going to plug it into a speaker and listen to it in a few environments probably. I've got some nice studio monitors. I use the AX7s. And then I have some crap monitors, I have some computer speakers, and I have my headphones. I'm going to find a spot where all the mix sounds good. All right, so as soon as all that's done, very next video, next part of the video, we're going to be opening up the force, and we're going to open this project up. So yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Now, all right, so here we are in the force, and my tripod's sitting on the table, so it's going to look a little wobbly at times. Here's the thing. First thing we're going to do is load. Go to places. Go to the card. As you can see, it looks like I have my Madonna V Depeche project here. Open that up. And here is the Ableton Live file. We're going to load that up. Now, a few things. Number one is I have my volume all the way down, because I don't know how loud it's going to be. I also don't know what the levels are going to be like when it finally pops up. All right, looks like, okay. If I go to knobs and I go to volume, it looks like they're all set to 0. Yep, they're all at 0 decibels. All right, so I'm going to have to adjust that. All right. First thing I'm going to do, I guess, okay. In this channel here, right now, we have our bass line. It looks like, it's interesting, because up here it tells me what the track names are. Right? But down here, it doesn't. It says bassline, brass harp, synth 2, drums 2, that's fine, breaks. And then it says freeze, where it says Depeche Mode. Up here, it says freeze. And here, it says Madonna. Up here, it says freeze. Down here, it says 8 rack effects. Okay, if you remember, this track here is the effects. Actually, if we go over, we got our uppers and downers here. So right off the bat, let's, one thing is that we don't want the rack effects, which I guess we'll call these the glitch effects on the main. We don't want it to play with everything else. Let's go to Mixer, and we'll go to Effects, and right here where it says 8 rack effects, we'll put that on. Crossfader side B. We'll put the rest of the stuff here on Crossfader side A. And the uppers and downers, the downlifters and risers, we will leave those alone so that they play no matter what, okay? So right away, B is glitch, A is normal playback. I'm gonna have to go through here and set these levels. Oh, there's another thing I need to set, actually. Before I even turn this up, we got to go back to Matrix. Actually, I don't really. We got to go to Clip, and I have to select this first clip here in Basslines, and it has to be set to loop. Now, if you notice, you go to Grid, set it up. There's no warping. I turned off warp. Okay, we are going to have to set loop for everything that needs to be looped. Setting loop is way, way easier than setting the warp markers off on everything. Okay, so here. Loop, 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 loop. Oh, no, actually, I don't want this to loop. That's a, It looks like maybe one of those reverb kicks. Loop, same. Loop, 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 loop. These are the, okay, loop. This is the vocal here, loop. That's a single vocal stab. I don't want to mess with that. So let's go down until this row disappears. And yeah, loop that. No loop, loop. Actually, these are the same. How about on this one, if I remember right, I don't want it to loop, but what I want to do is I want it to end a little, oh, that's the, is that the loop end, or is that the, okay, grid. Oh, I don't even know what to do. Edit end. Do I have to go back to, no? Clip. Oh, yeah, okay. Grid. What is going on? Here we go. Edit end. Okay. That way it fires off once and does not loop. Okay. Is that how I got it set? Yes. Okay. Down here, that can be looped. That's fine. Loop. What else? Loop. 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 It's possible that some of these that I'm setting to loop, I might not want to loop. And if that's the case, then I'll, see, I don't want to loop that one for sure. If that's the case, then I will adjust them later while we're messing with playback. Oh, I got a whole row of crap that I, yep, oops. Okay, loop, 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 loop. You know what's interesting is I can hear some of this playing back. These are all looped. Okay. Next row. Loop, 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 loop. See, some of these are super quiet compared to the rest. I should have really adjusted these volumes before I did this. Yeah, see, I can hear playback bleeding through. Interesting. Another reverb kick. Okay. Oh. All right, I don't want that to loop. I do want this to loop. I don't want this to loop. I think those are vocoder parts. Oh. Loop. Loop. Okay. Little tedious, but you're seeing how it's done. All I have to do is touch these to arm loop. It's in the clip edit here, not on grid. That's important. Breaks. Yeah, that's just a one shot. This, Here, let's stop all these. Fire that one off.
Music makes the people come together.
We'll loop that too. Loop and loop. Okay, I think I have everything looped. So let's go navigate back to the, oh, did I do everything? What are all these? Oh, I think those are stuff at the end. All this stuff here is stuff that I put at the end that I didn't want to mess with right off the bat. So let's launch this first row. Okay. Okay, here are the uppers and downers, that's good. One thing I want to do actually is I want to go to Matrix, the uppers and downers. I want to set that to not be included in the row launch. Now, if you remember with the playback, some of these were super loud. I'm going to have to change those or adjust the pads, but for now, so far so good.
Hey, Mr.
Okay,
DJ, put a record on. I wanna dance with my baby. When the music starts,
See how loud this
I
is?
never wanna stop. You know it drives me crazy.
Okay, this is loud. Okay, before we go any further, we don't want to lose our work, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to save this as a project. Save project as, now it's called Madonna V Depeche Mode. Now we can go into the projects and we can call it Madonna V Depeche, all right? And we'll put that in there. Okay, it's saving all of the samples and everything that I'm using from the Ableton Live file. So after this is saved and it goes back, I can actually go into the file system and I can delete that Ableton Live file, which I will do. Maybe not from here. I'm probably going to plug it into the computer to do that. But nonetheless, everything's getting copied over. Now every time I make a change, I can just go Shift Save and it will save it automatically. Taking a little while here. It's taking the same amount of time to save this as it did to load the Ableton Live file. Understandably so. This is a good time to say that you can go to ghostwrittenclips.com. Link is in the description, and you can get hooked up with some free or some paid Akai Force project files, or some key groups, or some other things. There's lots of free content on there, right? I'm not trying to soak anybody for their hard-earned cash. The stuff I do offer that is paid is well worth it. I put a lot of time into this. There's also stuff for the Korg ESX and the Korg ES2 and the Torize SP16 and the Octatrack and the SP606, SP404. Boom. This is taking a while, huh? We're very close. I think we're on the home stretch. This is one of the things about the Akai Force that is very tedious, is the load and save time. When it comes down to it on the MPC, it's practically like butter. It's like bam, right? Okay, I'm setting these levels. Okay, that's pretty loud. Okay. Ooh, what was that? Is it this guy? Yes, it's loud. Now, one thing I've noticed, actually, that I didn't even think about, is the rack effects here. Those are all glitchy version of the whole track that's put in here that I can use the crossfader to go into glitch moments and then bring it back to normal. The thing about that is that I added a bunch of new parts, so there's a lot of blank space here. I'm not sure how I'm going to suss that, but we need to test it out. I'm not even sure what it's going to sound like yet, but. Okay.
Dance with my baby. Music makes the people come together. Music makes the people come to think of yesterday. Think of yesterday.
Sounds pretty good. Not gonna lie. That is still super loud, these uppers and downers. I'm gonna turn them all the way down for now, and then I'll deal with them later. Still a little loud, maybe? All right, now you can hear some vocoder parts. Let's see what. Okay, it all sounds pretty good. Now let's try out some of these.
Do you like it? Woogie, woogie, do you like to? Woogie, do you? Do you like to tango? Woogie, woogie.
I see. So those are fair at best.
Music makes the people come together. Think of yesterday, and I don't look at the clock. I like to boogie woogie.
Pretty lackluster. I have a few more versions of these glitch effects down below. As if you can remember, when we navigate down here, I have some of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all these right now. Delete. And I got to think about the best way to do that. I think. Okay, let's stop everything and go down. I think. Oh.
Come together, yeah. Music makes a bourgeoisie in the river. Do you like to tango? Boogie woogie, Mr. DJ. Music makes the people say, Mr. DJ.
Okay, well, where is there more? Ah. Okay, that, if I remember it, is just, it's kind of giving me an idea. I think this is just the track itself mixed down. If you remember, it's dry. No glitch stuff on it at all. That's interesting. Let's take a copy of that. First, let's go to the matrix and let's go to the settings. Let's put that here. Hold on. I want to see. No, not you. Dang. Okay. Select. No. Select. Stop. Close. I still want to mess with this one. Settings. It's a good color for this. How about... Wish there were more. I guess red. Yeah, we'll use this fire setting. So what I'm going to do is copy this. Go to navigate, take it to the top here, and put it here. Okay, and then let's go to clip. Let's loop that piece. And let's make sure that it's not warped. It's not. Okay, let's go to matrix. Excuse me. And let's set this to not be included from row launch as well. Now I've always got to glitch something in this whole thing. Let's
Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. I wanna dance with my baby. You know when music starts, I never wanna stop. You know it.
okay, I don't like that either. So let's try. Let's delete this, and let's go back to where we were at down here. And where is? Let's take.
Hey, Mr. D.
This is just the normal mix down. It doesn't have the new parts, but I don't think we're going to need it. We're going to copy this guy, go back to the top, paste, okay? Weird. It's beyond me how they can be any different, but somehow the clips are a little different. Maybe this one is warped. Nope, it's not. Clip. Okay, I'm gonna loop this piece. What is the deal? Let me scroll in and see if it starts where it's supposed to start. All right, stop it. Kind of doesn't actually. Kind of doesn't start where it's supposed to start. All right, let's go to. No, edit starter. Okay, let's go back to clip. Loop start. There we go. Now let's listen.
Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. I wanna dance with my baby.
Alright, what's going on here? Loop start. Oh, it's not just a loop start. Okay, alright. Loop length. Let's go to the end. What in the world? Grid. And let's make it loop. Okay, fine. Shift save. Now, in the mixer over here, we see the rack effects. I'm going to put on some XY effects. Bam! I'm going to put a beat repeat in there. And I'm going to turn this all the way off, so let's see. I need to assign this crossfader. Okay, let's see what happens when I turn this off.
Hey, Mr. Mr.
Okay, this is messing with me. I'm going to turn that off for a minute and not really worry about this, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stop everything, okay? And I'm going to get rid of this clip so that I don't have anything going on that track at any times, okay? Let's go back and let's listen to this. Now let's set up let's set up some effects, right, for the rest of this stuff. So we're going to go to the mixer. Right now, the first one is a bass line. We're going to go to ins and outs. I want that bass line to be coming out of sub 1, okay? The next is a synth. We're going to call that basically synth 1, so we'll come out of sub 2. The next one is a synth as well, okay? So that's going to be in sub 2. Drums will all be out of sub 3. Drums, breaks, sub 3. The next one is Depeche Mode. We'll put that in sub 3 too, because it's basically just a drum loop. And Madonna, the vocal, we'll put that out of sub 4. And the uppers and downers and rack effects, I'm not even going to mess with right now. Okay. Now, in the effects, let's go to Master Effects. And if we come to submix 1, we know that that's our bass line, okay? And the bass line, I think we're probably not going to do a lot with that except for, well, we'll just leave that alone. Submix 2, we'll go to effects, submix 2. You know, submix 2 and 3 and 4, I think we'll make those go to sends and returns. So return 1, we will put some delay and reverb. We're going to do close. We've got 3 returns. How about return 1? We'll put that as a filter, okay? And the filter, yeah, we'll mess with that in a second. Return 2 will be some reverb. Return 3 will be delay. Air delay. For now, that's good. The filter we want, now we'll leave that just the way it is. The reverb, we'll go into the presets and we'll set up hall. We'll go to cathedral, right? And we'll turn the time can stay there, room size 100%, that's great. We'll turn the mix all the way down. Actually, we'll turn the mix to about 50%, actually. And then we'll go to the delay, and in the delay we'll go to a preset called dotted eighth, but we'll change that to dotted fourths, dotted quarter notes. We're going to turn the feedback up to about 65 and turn the mix up to about, and we'll leave mix at 50. Okay, let's go back to the mixer, and let's actually, we do need the master on. Let's go to sends, and we'll get something going here.
Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. I wanna dance with my baby.
And submix 3.
And when the music starts, I never wanna stop. You know it drives me crazy. Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. I wanna dance with my baby. And when the music starts, I never wanna stop. You know it drives me crazy.
Okay. Let's we need that to be a little bigger. We need the reverb specifically to be bigger. Maybe we'll go up to about 12.5 seconds. Let's go to 11.4 seconds, and we'll put the mix on at 75. And let's go back to sends, and how about we go to matrix, and we stop all. We just get
Hey, Mr.
Madonna.
DJ, put
Mixer,
a record
master.
on. I wanna dance with my baby.
That's good.
And when the music starts, I never wanna stop. You know it drives
Okay.
me crazy. Hey, Mr. DJ, Hey, Mr. DJ, put a record on. I wanna dance with my baby. And when the music starts, I never wanna stop. You know it drives me crazy.
Okay, now this is sweet the way I have it set up. I like it, okay? If we go to outputs 1 and 2, we can put a few things on here too. One of the things we can do is we can put a filter on the whole output, and we can put some beat repeat on there as well. And let's see.
Hey, Mr. DJ.
Okay, I don't want the filter on there. Okay, good. Now, in the new firmware update, right? For one, shift save. We want to make sure that we save everything, right? You can make, you can basically take a snapshot of an entire row of clips. Okay, so right now we have, this is normal, right? So if I come over here, even while it's playing, I hit edit and launch, I can take a snapshot. And now, if I go back to mixer, and I go to sends, I can mangle this. But if I launch it again, it snaps back to normal. All right, it's an extremely usable paradigm. Okay, right now let's go into the macros and let's set some stuff up. We want to be in project 1. Boom, project 1. I want to make sure that we're in knobs 1 through 8. I think what I'm going to do for the first knob is I'm going to learn, go to mixer, go to master. See, I have it in learn mode now. So each time I touch one of these, I can set it to a different parameter, right? So we're going to go with master. And the first one, I guess, will be, you know what? I'm going to leave the first one alone because I want it to be something different that I haven't even set up yet. So the second one, we'll set that to submix 2, which we know is synths. And we'll set that one to the, whoops. We'll set it to send 1. Synth submix 2, third knob in will be set to send 3, which is echo, or excuse me, which is reverb, and the third one will be echo. The fourth one will be drums filter. Okay. Second one will be, whoops, yep, drums reverb, yep, drums echo. Okay. The fourth one, I think I'm going to do Madonna, just the reverb. Okay. Then if I go to knobs 9 through 16, this guy here, I'm going to set, go to effects, I'm going to set this to XY effects. I want that to be enable, and I want the next one to be the time, right, of the beat repeat, overall beat repeat. This guy here, I will set to the filter cutoff, right? And this guy here, I'll set to the filter type. Oh, should I do that? Well, anyway, I can delete that later. I'll leave it at low pass 4 for now. Then I go back to macros and I hit unlearn, and all these things are set up. Okay. The filter type here, I don't want that, so I'm going to delete that. Shift save. Now if I go to knobs and I go to project 1, go out of the mixer mode, go back to matrix. These are all set, okay? So I can, all right, I said I wanted the first one to be something different. I want, when this starts, I want that Depeche Mode part to be on a filter. I want this knob to bring it in. So we'll go to baseline. Nope. We'll go to Depeche Mode, and I'll put that on its own filter. Yep. And I will go to macros, first knob, learn, mixer, filter, cutoff frequency. Okay. Save. Macros. Out of learn mode. Go back to matrix. Okay, now watch. Turn this all the way down. Okay, that's how I want it to start. Now, if we remember right, we've got these guys going. And I've got those turned all the way off. What did I? Oh, I see. Okay. Did I turn the volume all the way down on these? I can't remember. Did I mute them? Nope. Oops. Volume. Yes, I have them all the way down. Okay. Okay, so if I have, oops, don't want to do that, undo. If I go back here, project, turn this all the way down. And you know what I'll do for this is I will set this as a snapshot. So now, okay, how come I'm not hearing?
Hey, Mr. DJ. Hey, Mr.
Knobs, volume. Okay. Set that up. Okay, no problem.
Hey, Mr.
Weird. Okay, I must have took a snapshot on number 2. Okay. Let's get this party started. You got to remember where some snapshots are, or the other side, otherwise you get confused. Okay, now let's listen to that. Weird things. I can tell already that when I go to these, they're not clips. What are they? Let's see. I know that if I go to the pads, no, it's not pad mixer. I know that they are warped. I can tell. Oh, they're not. Interesting. You know what? Too many are going at once, for one thing. Let's go back to global. Let's turn to poly to 2. Save. That way I can only have 2 things going at once. Let's go back to the matrix and let's go to the launch. Let's forget about these guys here for a moment. And okay, we know that when this comes in, right? Okay, let's I feel like with these uppers and downers, I should make an individual row for each one, but I want them to change a little over time. Every time I hit the launch a row, I don't want to hear the same risers and risers and downlifters. Such a, yeah, I don't even know. Downers, uppers and downers. I don't want to hear the same uppers and downers each time I click one of those, launch one of these scenes. So what I'm going to do is, once again, I'm going to dismantle this. I'm going to do all that on my own. In fact, let's look at this pad. There's a lot of noise in the background. Sorry about that. Yeah, some of these, this is all over the place. I need to get rid of this and create one of my own. Delete. Let's create an 8-bar clip. Okay, so it's the next day. Whole family's up. My wife's drying her hair, like laundry's going. We're talking about major noise in the background, and I apologize for that, but I wanted you to see what I did last night. In the uppers and downers, I created a clip that was 64 bars long, okay? And then I went through in note mode and basically played these guys by hand, okay? Actually, I think it's all the way up. I played these by hand just with the downers, right? Just lots of sweeps, down sweeps, right? And I played it while I was listening to a beat. I played one every 5 on the every 4 measures, and I played them. And then what I did is I held shift and in the clip, let's see, went to grid, and I held shift and I selected all, right? And then I copied them all, right? Copy. And then I put the cursor in the middle. Let's see. Put it like right on number 3 on the 3rd measure, and then I pasted. So I had basically a copy of all of those, and the new ones were selected, right? And then I went to transpose, and I pushed those down into the risers. So what that did is I had a down sweep boom on the drop of every, after every 4 bars, on the first of every 4 bars. And then on the 3rd of every 4 bars, a riser would start. And some of these didn't fit, so what I did is I listened back, and when one of them didn't fit, I would just grab it, and then I would transpose it to another note and choose a different one. And I did that until they all sounded good, okay? And since it's 64 bars long, back in the launch mode here in Matrix, I basically left it that it was going to be excluded from the row launch. So when I launch scenes, it's not affected. It just continues to play, right? And because it's 64 bars long, there's lots of variety in there, and every single down sweep and every single riser are completely different. Okay, another thing is some of them were shorter, some of them were longer, but they were interfering with each other. So I went to menu and I went to track edit, and in global I made it mono so that those risers would be immediately cut off with the hits, and then those hits would be completely cut off at the beginning of these risers, right? So there's only one thing going at a time. And this proved to be very, very effective actually when I'm playing stuff back. Now, in the rack effects that I have set to the crossfader, I still haven't found a good solution for this, right? I really want to show you how these things work, and I need to figure out some sort of a good solution. So we'll get into that. I'm also going to plug this guy into a speaker before the next part of the video, and I'm going to set the levels. I'm going to go back and forth and get the mix exactly right. And the reason for that is because I want to showcase and utilize the newest features of the upgraded firmware, and that is to make snapshots, automation snapshots of each row, so that I can mangle them beyond recognition, and when I launch them again or launch the next row, it snaps back to normal. That's similar to what I do with the Korg ESX, right, using motion sequence. Speaking of mangling, okay, I'm not happy with the macro effects that I have going on here, and I'm going to switch things around a little bit. I'm still going to keep the same macro, I'm still going to keep the same send and return effects going, but I'm going to map these a little differently, right? For one thing, I want to utilize that, that filter. And I really, really want, also what I've noticed is, let me launch a row here. Now, if I send, if this is on a drum track right here, if I send reverb to the drum track, it raises in volume, watch. See? Same thing with the echoes, or the delay, listen. Okay, what I need to do is go in and automate some volume changes to go on these macros as well, so that when I full send to the reverb, it actually decreases the volume so that the volume really doesn't appear to raise at all as I'm sending. So I'm gonna mess with that, and I'll be back in a little bit to show you guys how these things have worked out, hopefully in a quieter environment. Okay, so I went through this and I got rid of all those macros, and I will show you what I have going on, okay? On the Depeche Mode track, I have a filter. That filter is macroed to here. If I open it up, you'll see it's macroed to the cutoff frequency. It is connected to this macro knob, which is the cutoff frequency. And the reason why is because when I fire this first clip off, I want to be able to have the filter all the way closed as it can get, and I want to open it up, all right? Now I have an XY on the glitch track. I'm actually abandoning the glitch track. I don't need it at all anymore. The uppers and downers have a limiter on there because it's a drum track, and so I put a limiter on there to make it basically to regulate the sound, the volume of all those ups and downs, right? Now, if we go to we go to master, you'll see that on the main outputs, I have an air filter. Okay, I have the beat repeat, and I have a delay, right? Now, this delay and the filter are here with this macro knob, and if I open that up, it kind of is a closed high pass filter, and as I use the macro knob, it opens it up, or excuse me, it's all the way open high pass filter, and it closes it off the lower frequencies while mixing in a delay in 2/4, which is a very interesting time signature, okay? And so on the main front here also, if we go to effects, if I go all the way over to the submixes, on the, well, I have the sends going to the return tracks set here. Oh, you know, I should mention on the return tracks, I had in return 1 a filter. I got rid of that. I don't know what I was thinking. You can't mix in a filter like that, right? So I put the reverb on return 1 and I put the delay on return 2, okay? And these macro knobs, well, the first one is the filter that's on the Depeche Mode track. The second and third macro knobs are the submix 2, which is the synth send to reverb, okay? And the synth 2 send to delay, right? Now, these are the only ones that I don't have momentary, which means that when I put them up and let go, they're not going to snap back to 0, just on the synths, okay? Submix 3 is the drums, so I've got the drums send to reverb here, and I can mix it all the way in, but as soon as I let go, it's momentary, and the same thing with the echo. And I can show you how I did that in a moment. Submix 4 is the vocal, right? Just Madonna. So same thing, I mix it in and let go, and it snaps back. Mix it in, let go, and it snaps back. This is that macro knob that does the outputs, the 1 and 2, the main outputs, that sends, that engages, that closes off a high pass filter and engages, mixes in a delay, okay? And I'll show you how that works in a moment. Knobs 9 to 16. Now, here I have the main filter that is, I had this set to, dang, yep, I made a mistake. Anyway, I've got it set here, it looks like, which is exactly what I have on the front. So I'm going to go into macros, then I'm going to get rid of this actually. So these macros, not these macros, I showed you how these are momentary. See the momentary switch there? That means, see if I have this turned off, that means when I raise the pot, it stays at the value that I left it at. Whereas if it's closed and I have it at momentary, then I can raise it all the way up and let go, bam, and it snaps back to 0. In 9 to 16, actually, in the beat repeat engagement, okay, this is what mixes or turns it on, right? I have it not just momentary, but I have it toggled. So all I have to do is touch it and it goes back and forth, right? If I have it off and I make it momentary, then it turns itself, well, let's see, it turns itself on. It's actually bugging out right now a little bit. In fact, if I turn it off, momentary, I can fade it in or out, momentary. Yeah, it's bugging just a tad. It should be, weird. Anyway, when I have it off, it should basically, when I touch it, toggle on. No, this is how. All right. But because I have it momentary, toggle, it'll turn on when I'm touching it. Okay. I hope all this is clear. I'm actually all over the place right now, and I'm sorry about that. So these macro knobs, if I go to, is that macro knobs? These macro knobs are not momentary at all, and they are set to some effects that I put on submix 1, which is the bass, submix 2, which is the synth, and submix 3, which is the drums, okay? Basically on the bass, when I scroll this in, it brings up the drive in the resample engine, saturation engine. It only goes so high, okay? And it also engages spring reverb, mixes it in. In submix 2, I've got a flanger that engages when I mix it in, and I've got stutter, which also mixes in, okay? And then on the drums, I have a reverb mixed in here, which is a spring reverb. It's a gated reverb, okay? And then I have a long high pass delay, which is here, basically, and I mixed that in as well, same knob. And then here I have a diode clip, And this has got some oversampling and some nastiness in it, and it engages as well, right? That just adds some nasty artifacts. Almost distortion, not quite. Now, these guys are not set to momentary. So when I push those up, they stay at their values, okay? And there's a reason for that. Because one thing that I did when I was away is I went through and I set the levels of everything properly in a speaker. So I did the speaker, headphones, right? So I got the mix as good as I can get it, right? Now there are some places here like, let's listen here for a moment. These guys, let's navigate back to the top. Okay, right here, I've got just some synth going on, and when I drop the next scene, it kind of goes back to normal. More synths. Okay. On this guy here, on the following scene, one of the features in the new firmware that I was talking about that I think is really, really exciting is the way to take an automation snapshot. And what it does is it doesn't take a snapshot of the automation. I guess it does if you have some automation recorded, but if you don't have any automation recorded, then it just takes a snapshot of all of the current parameters in its existing state, and then it goes to that as soon as you launch the scene. So in this scene here, let's listen to this scene here. Okay, and the previous one. Okay, so this next one, let's just to demonstrate exactly how this works, hold down edit and hit launch, take snapshot, okay? So now I'm doing the one that's previous. Now every time I play this scene, it's gonna sound like that, okay? Now here, if I've got this guy going and I go to my macro knobs 9 to 16, I can mangle this, watch. And even here, and launch, and it goes back to normal. This is also back to normal, right? So in some crucial spots in here, I'm gonna go through and I'm going to take automated snapshots. And basically that will allow me at there's some spots where I really want to just mess and mess with the audio and do some things to add movement and to add life and to add some variety and still continue and contain the groove. And I don't want to have to worry about pulling all that stuff in when I drop the crucial scenes. So in these crucial scenes, I'm going to go through here and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take those automation snapshots and then I'm going to save the work that I did, all right? So that is the end of the 3-part video series, and part 4 is gonna be me showing you the track in its entirety and performing it. This did not turn out how I thought it was gonna be. I thought I was just gonna show you some of these new features and it was gonna be quick and easy. I'm not really editing much of this. I don't want to take out even the uncomfortable parts where I'm working on something or where I lose track of where I'm at or anything like that, just because I want you to see everything that goes into recording this and making this track from Ableton Live to fruition. Many times in the beginning, in fact, I remember saying at least once that I didn't even really care about or were invested in this track at all. And I became more invested in it as we went along, which is why I just kept doing more and more stuff and still recording it. This is definitely my longest video to date. And hope you had a fantastic Christmas, Hanukkah, anything that you celebrate or whatever. Just have a great winter season. I do celebrate Christmas, and I love saying Merry Christmas. So yeah, Merry Christmas to all of you. Even if you didn't celebrate it, I hope the day was amazing. And watch the next part of the video. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll put a link at the end of this video, also to the entire playlist. And just watch the track and see how it is. Go to ghostwrittenclips.com. Link is also in the description if you want to see, if you want to get some free or some paid resources for the Akai Force or any other hardware sequencer, sampler, or DAW. Be blessed.